Hey YouTube land, TechHanders here doing a sort of different video for a change. It's just something I said I would do just to showcase why sometimes there's usually big gaps in between me recording figure reviews, and that is because sometimes I am painting these little guys. So for those of you who are new, or those of you that recognize some of these are some of the old Warhammer miniatures. Now, a lot of the bases aren't done on these because I haven't finalized what I'm going for on the bases. These are orcs that I'm using, or these will be orcs that I'm planning to use for a Mordenheim army, or Mordenheim warband. So they're not going to have the traditional style green bases. I want to kind of put more of a urban city cobblestone look to their bases, hence why they're not finished in that respect. But these are just ones that I painted up. These are really old sculpts. These are the metal ones. There's a couple of plastic miniatures in here as well, but the orcs are some of my favorite characters. So this is slightly more modern 80s to 90s style orc, well, more 90s onwards. He's actually originally, I believe he was part of the what were they called, the Big Guns. He was part of the Big Gun command group, but he was downgraded when the newer ones came out and he just became an orc champion. So these are just ones I've painted up. Most of these are done with speed paints and Slapshot, so really been kind of leaning into that. Here's another one that I'm liked. It's just simple. I used the more modern shields for these guys. The older orc shields were either the small round discs ones that you painted or put a transfer on. The ones that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, they did these ones with icons that were sculpted. So you can see some of them are different. Actually, I don't have the different ones, but the pieces, you have a backing. In fact, those are both the same one. You have a icon that you glue on the shield. There's different types of the shield. There's two on the shield sprue. I don't have one in hand. You get two of the timber ones, and then you get another one with timber but it has a metal kind of casing on it, and then you have a one that looks like it has a leather covering. And then there's three options for the actual icon. So you have that orc head with the big jaws. There was kind of a more Evil Sunz looking style head, and then there was the third one was another skull design, but a different type of skull. I also been painting up some of these old HeroQuest miniatures I dug out. I wanted to see what I could do with the Famirs. I actually found I actually have all three of them. So at some point, the other two were badly painted, so I'm going to strip the paint off them and repaint them. I believe this guy was the only one that didn't have any paint on him. This is one I just threw together. It's a Nurgle theme sort of old Chaos Warrior. I just, while I was waiting for other stuff to dry, I basically I'd stripped the paint off him. See, a small bit of him got missed, but that'll be covered up with a shield anyway. I don't have the shield done for him. I was just testing the waters basically for this color scheme, just to see if I can get a kind of sort of Nurgle style scheme using the speed paints. And again, kind of a heavier Slapshot. It was undercoated with black and then dry brushed heavily with white till it was almost all white. And then there's like some areas that are fairly in depth. Also paint up a cannon. It's not the best paint job, but I just wanted to paint up a cannon and the crew for my Empire army, since with the release of the Warhammer the Old World, I kind of got kicked back into this stuff. It was just painted undercoated in black with a black spray, and so were the crew, so I decided just to finish it off. It'd been sitting undercoated for maybe 4 or 5 years, so I just got in the kick of actually painting it up, and I did paint up the crew for it. So the crew are more finished than the actual cannon. Here is one of the cannon crew. Again, speed paints and Slapshot style paints on this. I actually used Shamrock Green for the actual green area. The off yellow is actually a mixture of the honeycomb one and a bit of the, what's it called, hardened leather mixed in, like a 2-to-1, 1 drop of hardened leather, very small amount of the hardened leather and that honeycomb yellow. And then it's just the bottom layer, the kind of smaller browner area. I think it's better, you can see them better on kind of this character. That is just the hardened leather with a 1 drop of speed paint medium in it, just to basically wash it out a small bit so it's not as distinctive. Again, no one has their eyes painted because the eyes are pretty hard to do. I did manage to get eyes on some guys, like the orcs here, kind of somewhat simulated, but the eyes on some of the human characters are just so tiny. This is one of my old pikemen. He was actually half painted, and this was one of the first ones I painted up, so he's a bit splotchy in places. This is just a test to see if I could replicate my original army paint scheme, which is green with yellow and a kind of off, well, it was more of an off beige, yellowy beige on the base, but I decided to go with these guys. It's kind of a simplistic, it's almost like a Stirland color scheme, but it's not the same. But I kind of went with that for the Empire. Again, here's one of the other gunners. I'm pretty sure the head on this guy isn't one of the gunner heads or the cannon crew heads. He's actually, I'm pretty sure the head off this guy is one of the heads that came with the White Wolf upgrade kit for the Knights, or it's the one, it's either the White Wolf upgrade kit if you wanted to be, originally it was part of the Mordenheim warband, human warband, came with a kind of a whole plethora of different parts, and they had like heads like this in it. So I swapped out the kind of standard cannon crew guy head and gave him this. He didn't turn out too badly. I would have preferred the kind of white undershirt to be a little bit more prominent. You can see I kind of had a little bit of bleed out with the green paint over it. But all in all, it's not too bad. The bases are pretty simple for these guys. It's a sterling mud with a bit of moot green dabbled in bits, and then a bit of a tuft of that kind of static grassy stuff. Bases have never been a strong point for me, so I'm trying to up my base game, as they say. And then these two guys are ones I recently painted, and these are old Grenadier models. These are in plastic, and they're called Space Rangers. They were sort of a, I'm not quite a Space Marine kind of miniature. Again, I tested out a yellow color scheme on this because I have never really been a fan of doing yellow on miniatures. It's one of the hardest colors, I think, to get right, and it takes a while. But this, again, all done with speed paints and various washes. So this was the, I can't remember the yellow. It's not the Zealot yellow, and it's not that honeycomb one. It's another yellow that was in the mega paint box, and I just tested it out. The blue is Magic Blue, which is a really nice kind of vibrant blue. I did hit the visors. I'm not sure if you can see them. It's actually green. Originally what I did was I did a strip of silver across the visor part, then used the shamrock green with a little bit of medium in it just to see if I could make it look like it's a glow. And then when that didn't work, I just used this tiny bit of moot green over it. Again, I used forest green in the venti bits at the back, and it wasn't as strong after I put a strong tone wash all over these guys, which is why you can see it kind of pooled in areas, which kind of gave it that deep shading effect, which I kind of like. It's not kind of a crisp yellow, it's more of a muddied, gritty yellow, which I kind of like. And the guns were done in that polished silver, the Army Painter's speed paint polished silver, and then a wash of Nun oil over it, so it's not too bad. The brown is Satchel Brown. I just left that as is. I tried to avoid putting the wash on it as best I could. It's actually quite a nice deep brown and does work quite well for belts and stuff. So I did do that, and I did actually manage to put sterling mud technical paint on the bases for these guys. Again, as I said, most base stuff I haven't really gotten used to, even though I've been painting miniatures for yonks. The bases have always been a problematic area for me. Most of the time I'll try to put the sand, PVA and sand mix, and I always find that it just, the PVA, whatever PVA I use, maybe it's just because of where I live and the atmospherics, the sand, once it's glued on and I start to put paint on it, it just starts peeling off, and it just, annoys me. I have seen people say that you need to put another layer of just the watered down PVA over it. And this lady here is a conversion for a Sister of Battle, or Adepta Sororitas. Well, it's either a Canoness or a Sister Superior, whichever way I want to use her. More than likely I'll run her as a Canoness. And she is a custom made from metal and plastic parts. So book hand here, this bolt pistol hand and the sword, they're all plastic bits off the newer Sisters kits, whereas the main body is one of the older metal ones with an older metal backpack. It's actually the heavy bolter. As you can see, there's like the drum feed magazine thing at the back. I didn't take that off, I just painted it up as a kind of a gear box or something along those lines. The chapter for this one, or the order, is my own in-house order. It's not one of the kind of standard Sisters paint jobs. It's not like the Martyred Lady or the Bloody Rose, but those are just miniatures, some of the miniatures I've been painting, which has been taking up my time. Most notably the orcs. I've been going through a ton of orcs. These are just a sample of some of the ones that I've done, and the Empire stuff is taking up a good chunk of my time because I've recently dug it out, found that I have a good sizable, reasonable size army, and I have stuff that I need to paint for it. Most notably, I have to kind of go back and repaint the older scheme stuff to kind of match up with this slightly lighter. The original uniform color on mine wasn't too far off this, but it was a darker green. It was a Dark Angels green I had used, or Caliban green, and it's a way darker. This lighter one looks a little bit nicer. It pops just a bit better. And then I have to go through, once I get all these pikemen done, I have to paint up all their shields as well, because I have a whole bunch of shields. Now the shields, I did, when I was looking through all my old Empire stuff, I did find I have one guy with a shield painted. I'm going to keep that color scheme. So these guys were from the 6th edition starter set. So in that 6th edition starter set, you got a set of pikemen, you got a cannon crew, you got a guy on a horse, and you get a set of handgunners. I have painted up the handgunners ages ago, so they're not the best paint job, and I need to brighten up the green, so I'm not sure if I'm going to try and do that by hand, or if I'm going to do that by redoing the green with a white undercoat and then try and put the wash over it to see if, or the speed paint over it to see if it will just give it that pop. But hopefully it will. Someone has managed to lose one of the tufts on their bases, as you can see here. Who was that? That was probably this guy. Yep, he should have that on the front. So there, that's a bit better. So yeah, so just said I'd do a quick video before I put up any, well, I'll probably be putting up review videos after this as well, but just a quick video of why it takes me sometimes a bit longer to throw out standard kind of figure reviews. I don't even know if anyone would be interested in watching my painting reviews. I did put up a short with one of my painted Eldar things, which is actually a yellow and blue scheme, but I didn't get much hits on that. So as I said, I do a little showcase of some of my painted miniatures, semi-painted if you not considering the base is done, but just showcase of some of the stuff I've painted. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video-ish non-review thing, and I hope you enjoyed having a look at some of the miniatures I painted. And I know they're probably not the best, and they're not exactly pro painted or anything along those lines, but they are something that I love painting. The other stuff I've been painting up as well is Necromunda and a few other kind of non-GW stuff, as in Warzone and some of the War Games Atlantic stuff. So I might show small few videos every now and again of just stuff I painted up, and just so you can see what I've done. So hopefully you enjoy these videos, and hopefully you'll leave a comment, a like and subscription below in the comment section, or well, a comment and a like to the video. And I hope you enjoy this little waffle and video. So cheers guys, and thanks again for watching.